Hi, I'm Tor from Leprous. I'm doing very well. I haven't had the time to do that much outside the venue yet so far, but yeah, I mean, I've been to Helsinki several times, and I'm looking forward to walk around a bit, getting some good coffee. Well, I mean, I think when you go on tour, you kind of set your mind to the length of whatever the tour is, and it has been a very long one. It's like 7 weeks. So I have to say, this being the last week, I'm definitely looking forward to coming home to my wife and my cats, and just my house, and having like my own space, I guess. Living on a bus for so long, it's quite it's a lot. I was kind of thinking like, oh, hey, maybe I'll just escape the winter then, but then we came here, and then no, it's still winter, so I guess we still have some weeks left. I mean, to be honest, being at home during winter time isn't really that bad either. You can go skiing and enjoy like winter activities. It's more like being on tour in like super cold areas when you're living on a bus. It's like it's not that much to do with all the snow and cold weather. So we already did like quite a lot of touring since COVID, so that part was, I guess, a bit out of the way. But yeah, I mean, it's been a very special tour. A lot of great things happening, and I have to say, like, even though I'm saying I'm looking forward to coming home, it's been a really, really good tour that I'm very happy with, and it's been so many like surprisingly big shows that I didn't really expect, and you never really know. Like, we heard for so long, it's like, well, now, I mean, you never really know how the world situation is at any time, and we kind of plan this so far ahead, so like you would know, would there be any more like pandemic, or would there be like energy crisis or whatever. So I just feel like we've been very lucky in everything everything that's happened.
Were you surprised that this was happening after all, with all the things happening in the world? Or?
Yeah, I mean, well, surprised. I would say I'm relieved, because it's definitely something that I thought could affect things, but we're kind of in the mindset that we'll just try anyway and see what happens. Like, we also did a tour in 2021, right when the Omicron virus kind of shut everything down again, and I think a lot of other bands had to like either chose to cancel or had to cancel, but we kind of just continued, and that also turned into really, really cool and special thing.
I guess you've been lucky in that sense, because you were also touring right before the pandemic started. So,
I think we're one of the few bands that have like been touring in both like 2020, 2021, and then early 2022. So it's like we're kind of looking back, I feel like maybe I mean, we also did a lot of like live streams though, so I'm definitely happy that we can go back to touring. I would say like just being on camera is kind of nerve-wracking. I mean, the first times when you record something live, I mean, we did like an entire live recording in 2016, and I was like, how is this gonna be? And you have to you're kind of more thinking about what you're playing and if you're doing it right, and everything has to be perfect, and it kind of raises your shoulders a lot. But then like after doing those, I guess like 12 or 13 live streams or something, you kind of just forget about it, and you get so used to it. So now I think it gave us a lot of like confidence, and kind of set like the bar on what you kind of would be bothered about, because I realized you can do so many like play mistakes or whatever, and it wouldn't really matter in the big picture. And also like this last year we played a lot of shows like in 2022, and I guess that also at some point we just realized we had some recordings of some of the shows, which we then now released, which I think also just like taking something you didn't even know you would release when you played it, and then release it without really doing that much about it, or with editing and stuff. It kind of also, I think we grew like from like wanting to perfect everything, just like oh, this is cool. It's kind of got a cool live vibe. So
yeah,
I think we learned a lot of from those live streams, definitely.
Do you record all the shows on the soundboard, or not?
I mean,
ever?
to be honest, I don't really know, but I think maybe we do, or the sound guy does. Yeah, he just asked me like, hey, is it okay that I buy like a new hard drive because I'm starting to run a bit low on, so I'm guessing he probably records everything, and that's cool. Then maybe at some point that would be a long release if we were to release everything we did on this tour. But I mean, it's cool to have.
Metallica used to do that, like, or I don't know if they still do, but of every show they used to have, like, back in the day, a recording online that you could buy. So business plan. Oh.
That could be a cool thing. We're definitely planning on the process, but we haven't started making anything yet. Like, we haven't pitched any ideas to each other. But I mean, after this tour ends in a week, then we don't really have anything planned or like announced for quite a long time, since we did so much like extensive, like we had like 3 years worth of festivals that we played last year and 2 big tours in the States, and a lot of playing in Finland actually as well.
Yeah, you were just here.
All the time. So we will have a lot of time to focus on songwriting, so I'm pretty sure that's going to be the next thing we start thinking about. And you never really know how that's going to go, but I mean, obviously the songwriting when we wrote Aphelion was different, just because suddenly we realized, okay, we're making an album now. We weren't really planning to, and we had like already like 4 songs that we were planning to release as an EP anyway, but we're just doing some work on those songs, and then kind of in the process of working with those songs, we made the Castaway Angels, and then when we recorded Castaway Angels, we had some time left in the studio, and then we made all the moments, and then suddenly we had 6 songs, and it was like, we almost have an album now. So then we just decided to make 3 more songs. It was like very kind of just as it went by, suddenly we made like, and then we made 9 songs, and then suddenly we like, let's stream that we make the last song, and then it's like, okay, so suddenly we had like the entire album. And I mean, obviously it won't be as kind of random this time around, since we will plan the process, but we obviously also learned a lot from that songwriting thing, and I would say, like, to me, maybe especially the way we record it, because I think we will, like, this time we went to the studio with a lot of like not too worked out ideas, and then kind of made the rest in the studio, which was very cool. But I guess now it's probably going to be a bit more like thought out before going into the studio and kind of deciding what we will try to record, and then, but still, I hope and want to kind of continue playing together in the studio instead of like everyone just being on their own doing one thing at a time, because it definitely gives a special energy, and it gives you also like a lot of inspiration, like sitting next to the people you're kind of playing with. That was also like a very scary thing, like if I would have thought that like several years ago, like the pressure of sitting there in the studio, spending like the precious studio time, and maybe if I play a mistake, then it's not. But then now it's like we played so much together, and we play very well together. So I think it's that it kind of also adds a very nice aspect to the recordings. I just feel whatever benefits the song is kind of what's the most important. I don't have like I don't feel the necessity of kind of, I have to have more guitars here just to have guitars kind of. I've been starting to learn a lot of keyboards now, because like on the set list we're doing now, I like so Einar kind of gets a bit more time to focus on his voice, which is obviously his main instrument. Then we have kind of, the rest of us have started to play more of the keys, and I think that's also a cool thing. I mean, to me it's not that important to show off like any specific skills or anything. I just want to kind of be contributing to making the best songs, and to like perform them as good as possible live as well. So, but obviously, I mean, It also is a matter, I guess, of how involved you are in the writing process. Even though, funnily enough, like one of the few songs that I was I made the main ID for, I made on the keyboard. So yeah, like on a Philium. So it's like, I guess it's just a tool to kind of be creative, and then you turn it into the best version of whatever the joint forces of the band kind of comes up with.
When you say you wrote it on the keyboard, is that then like the guitar part, or do you actually play the keyboards on that song?
I mean, this thing it was more like just to have kind of a different kind of perspective into because like when you sit down with the guitar, sometimes you're just like, okay, you just do the same things over and over. You can't really be creative. But then it was like just me and Einar, we went to like his cabin, and we were just sitting there like, okay, we're gonna make like 1 or 2 songs every day. And then, one of the things I brought was that, like this just very small MIDI keyboard, and I just like, oh, that's cool, kind of chords and arrangements, and then I kind of tried to make them maybe into guitar chords afterwards, or like whatever kind of benefits the song.
Yeah, I was asking because I feel that whenever a keyboard player writes something for either a guitarist or a vocalist, it can be like overly complicated sometimes.
Yeah, that's true. But I have to say, like, so this thought of doing this also came from the fact that Einar has been writing a lot of stuff like on his computer or with a keyboard without knowing anything what's possible on a guitar, or like caring about it at least. And the cool thing is that gives it a very original kind of, you make some really original guitar riffs that way, because no guitarist in his right mind would ever want to put himself through those chords, or so it kind of gives you the more neutral approach to just like picking the songs that like picking the compositions that is kind of cool, not necessarily only due to how easy it is to play, but obviously it's kind of the opposite of what we did with the last songs on the album, when we were like sitting in the studio like, okay, we have some drums and we have some chords, let's try layering it with some guitars, and I guess I would say I enjoy more playing those kind of things, which I mean, it just feels more natural to play on the guitar. I mean, the part like with the getting the help from the fans, I mean, that was mainly like they gave us like the framework of what we had to work within, and like choosing which kind of elements we had to incorporate into the songs. Like we had to have like 3 different time signatures, 3 different keys. We had to use both acoustic and guitar, 8-string guitar and a 6-string guitar. We had to have like 5-string bass and tapping, and we had to like, so it's like so many. I realized that I said it before, but I realized our fans are like Yngwie Malmsteen. They're like, they definitely like as much as possible, so more is more. But that being said, I really I'm very happy with how it ended up, and looking back at the kind of doing that, it's like because it was such a special thing to do in a very special time, that I hope that kind of situation that makes us have to do it that way won't happen again, like the pandemic. So then I'm kind of glad to look back and realize that we actually did it, and that we ended up with a song that I'm actually I really like to play it live, and so so it was a good cooperation. But I don't think we'll do it again. I don't think it helps me that much with guitar playing, but it definitely gives me a aspect of, I don't know, I mean, you learn a lot in like working with I mean, I know a lot about like anatomy and physiology, and like I guess, what do you call it, like damages like, or wear and tear on your body, which it's so typical, like on a tour, everyone is like, if they hear that I'm a physiotherapist, I had this really, like everyone has a bad back, and everyone like, or the wrist or the elbow or like some, like it's always like some problems here and there, and it's obviously it's not everything that is like a quick fix, but I mean I don't mind like trying to figure some of those things out, because it's like I don't work. I quit that like regular job last year just because we had so much playing to do, and the daily rhythm of waking up at 7 in the morning and do physiotherapy and then staying up until 7 in the morning or I don't know, it kind of didn't match that well with having a life outside of working. So it's like it's nice to use those kind of abilities at something. So yeah, if someone has like a question about something like that, I mean, I'm known to be kind of, I can be very introverted and like kind of pull back from if there's a lot of things going on. But if anyone like asks me a specific question on a specific subject, I could like talk their brains out, because it's like, yeah, I like to talk. So I'm like a strange version of like extroverted introvert.
Yeah. So you like to? Do you prefer talking about like anatomy than about guitars, for instance?
Yeah. It's like usually I'm like more interested in stuff that isn't kind of work. And how boring as it may sound, like now playing guitar is like a work, since now that's my kind of main or only income since I quit like physiotherapy. So now suddenly like physiotherapy is something that I can like, oh yeah, cool that you asked me. Or like yeah, like hobbies that I have, like that could take so much more of my time than things that I probably should probably rehearse more.
Yeah.
But it's yeah.
Well, going back to the physiotherapy, maybe, as you're talking about that, do you maybe have any tips for metalheads on how to headbang correctly without being in pain?
Yeah, I mean, I guess I get like a bit of, it kind of hurts watching sometimes when people are like very just like with only using their neck and like super heavy. It's like, oh, that doesn't look good at all. Like I would say just, I mean, use your entire body and like have a movement that just feels natural for you. I think that's the best thing. But then again, I've just realized I'm starting to be a bit like, I guess it's a part of being on tour for that long, but I think I'm not, I mean, I can give an advice and then I wouldn't follow it myself. So I think I would have I don't think my body would mind having a bit of a break now after 5 more shows, because yeah, my head is kind of starting to feel a bit dizzy. So yeah, I definitely will enjoy these last shows, and 3 shows in Finland, which is awesome. And yeah, I hope we can come back very quickly, because I love to play in Finland.